Crash Bandicoot! It's Crash Bandicoot!
Hello, welcome to Crash Bandicoot. Hello, and welcome to Crash Bandicoot. I'm currently doing a volume test right now to see how well I sound. I think it's a little bit on the quiet side, so I might pump that louder just a sec. Okay. How loud is it now? Because this is actually quite important. This is a test of how loud I sound with the music on. Is there any background noise? That's important to me to find out. I think I'm honestly quite good. I might turn it up even a little more. Okay, that should be it. Should be ready to go. This is the last and final test to see how well I sound before I begin streaming for realsies. So, again, important to hear how loud I sound. How do I sound now, huh? really should have tested this by pressing OK instead of cancel. That would have been smart. That would have been the smart thing to do. Again, this is a test of volume. Is there any background noise bleed? There should be a little, but I think it should be fine.
It's crash back. It's crash.
Okay. Time to test for reals again. This one should be significantly louder and better. It was. Who would have guessed? Alright, well, I guess it's time to start, more or less, anyways. And I've decided that for this playthrough, I'm going to fully complete one game from the series. And, there we go. I don't know which one to pick, is essentially the question. So you get to choose. Is it going to be 1, 2, or 3? Or I guess 1 Cortex Strikes Backdoor Vault. I'll leave you to think about that for a minute whilst I go and get a thing to help me read YouTube comments, because I'm a terrible streamer and I haven't got everything I need at the moment. But it's only 1. I can't do all 3 of them. Alright? Okay? Please? Please, I can't. It would take me like 6 hours. I don't have that long. I need to eat and also drink. I've got like water here. Water. I'm not doing all 3. Stop it. Let me make. There we go. Some water for me to drink. Oh shit! Don't knock anything over here. Only 1 and 2. Okay, think of it this way. If you had to pick like a favorite number, which would it be out of 1, 2, and 3? You know, like someone tells you to rate your happiness out of 3 at the moment. Say, for example, which one would you pick? I could also give you some background information. Out of all 3 of these games, I believe 2 is the easiest, 3 is the one I've played the most, and 1 is the most difficult. But I actually don't find it very difficult. Does that help? 1, then tomorrow 2 and 3. Well, yeah, I guess good to start with at the beginning. All right, I'll do 1 today. We'll do 1, but you have to give me a minute because I have to go get that thing. So have fun listening to the music. Ah, shit. Whew. Wow. It really is just ideal. So what I have is a little stand for the Nintendo Switch. It's a Legend of Zelda themed one. And it's just plugged in my phone and it's charging away, but I can look over at any time and see all of the comments, which is great. Or at least it would be if all the comments were something I'd actually want to see. Alright, here we go. The best part about this is that I'll finally be able to do the thing that I've always wanted to do, which is time how long it takes me to complete this game.
Dr. Cortex, we haven't determined the cause of past failures.
Moron! This Bandicoot will be my general. He will lead my Cortex commandos to world domination. This time, I shall reign triumphant. We are closer than
Ever before! Quickly, into the vortex! Dr. Cortex.
The
Vortex is not ready. We have no idea what it could do. Oh no! Not failure again.
capture him!
Uh-oh.
Prepare the female Bandicoot.
The femoid bandicoot. She's female. Christ. Oh, what a classic. This game is classic. Let me tell you a little bit about my streaming setup. Just because I can. So I'm playing on a PlayStation 4 Pro that I bought with the help of McDonald's. Because I work there. And that's how I make my money. So the audio solution is thus. Audio is sent via Bluetooth to the controller, and plugged into the controller is two things. Well, it's one thing. It's a headphone splitter that converts sound into two signals, one for microphones and one for headphones. The signal being split is attached to a Rode video mic, and that's capturing my voice at the moment. And the audio signal is being sent to some earphones that I've got plugged in. And that way you don't get any bleed with my audio solution at home, which is a 5.1 surround sound setup. Which, while great, does introduce a lot of bleed when the headphones, when the speakers rather, are literally right in front of the microphone. I did test it earlier today, just while the stream is weirdly long, because we just started, and it just, yeah, it didn't work out. Wow. Almost. Dun, dun, dun. Dun, 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 dun. So the microphone's being held onto a camera, and I'm not doing this because I want to do it. It's just because it's the easiest way to get it onto something without it like falling over. I had it attached to a boom microphone thing. That didn't work out so well. So yeah, it's just on a tripod, just a camera attached to a tripod with a microphone on top. But it works because you can presumably hear me, and hopefully the audio is not too loud from the game. Let us continue. So people often ask me, how long have you played? Oh, right, this thing. That's fun. Okay, let's continue. There's a whole story about that level, related to the developers of the game. But anyway, we're continuing on. So people often ask me, how long have you been playing Crash Bandicoot? And I always keep telling them, since I was born. I'm kidding. I was 3. So I presume the year must have been 2004. PlayStation 2 would have been 3 years old, as would I have. But we didn't own a PlayStation 2. We owned a PlayStation 1, which was fine, because I really liked that console. And we owned Crash Bandicoot 1 and Crash Bandicoot 3, but not Crash Bandicoot 2. And because of this, I played both of those games just a shit ton. And I learned a lot about games in general from those two games. What did I learn? Well, no, shut up. I don't know, I learned a bit about game design, I guess. Remember when you said, when you claimed a level was easier than another, and I said it wasn't? And then claimed the level you said was harder and dominated it? Not really, no. Also, I'm noticing on the stream that a black bar keeps coming up for some reason every time someone posts a comment, which is interesting. I don't know how to fix that or get rid of it, but whatever. What level was that? And in what game? And when? At the game's master party. Oh yeah! Well, that's just because I find platforming levels easier than, oh no, platforming levels harder than those running away levels. Do I? I don't know. Or maybe I was just thinking about my sister at the time. She really struggles with those levels anyway. And I'm not saying that you are my sister in terms of skill level. It's just that my sister doesn't play these games nearly as much as she claims to. Now, I don't need your tooltips, alright? Thank you, though. Honestly, the first game could have used tooltips. Or any kind of tutorial whatsoever. Because there is some bullshit stuff in this game that you really would have no idea about unless you, like, played it a lot and dedicated your life to it in a weird sort of ritualistic sacrifice style. So, a couple of these levels you're noticing I'm not going to be 100% completing, and that's because I can't. The game is laid out in such a way where it's like a Metroidvania. The levels aren't all connected together, but you have to go back to certain levels at a later date in order to actually fully complete them. So this level has such an example. At the end of the level, you may see like these little tiny yellow gems around the end platform. So you actually can't finish the level and get all of the boxes until you collect the yellow gem. And it just so happens that the yellow gem is the last possible one you can collect because it's in the final level of the game. Which is great. And lots of levels have these. The previous level as well, I didn't get all the boxes in that one because there's like a little water tower that you go into halfway through, and there's a green gem in there that you cannot collect until you complete what is it? The Lost City? I forget. I'm your sister. I'm your sister now. Crash. See, look, 30 out of 38. There's 8 more boxes, but only if I can get the yellow gem. So there's really not even any point to even trying to collect all of the boxes on these levels because you just can't do it. It's silly. And very confusing, because you really have to remember where each level is. You have to remember where to get the specific gem that you need, and also to, something else. Oh yeah, remember which level has the bit that can be unlocked with the gem that you now have, presuming you were able to collect it, so it's just a lot of fun. Anyway, I said I'd talk about Stormy Ascent, and I could wait till I get there to talk about it, but I'll probably forget the anecdote by the time I get there, so I'll just say it now. This game came out in, let's see, 1995, but it was like November or October of 1995. Just towards the holiday season. As many games do, in order to cash in on their Christmas fun-time party that they all have. That's a little fun fact about video games. Anyway, earlier in the year, I think around April, a demo was released for reviewers. And, sorry, not a demo, like the whole game was on this disc. And, you know, it was under heavy embargoes, you weren't allowed to talk about it or show it off to people, but you could just say, yes, I have played the new Crash Bandicoot coming out November of this year, and it was pretty good. Or whatever. And there's quite a number of differences between that version of the game and this version in like the 7 or 8 months between, or like I think it's 6 months even. Maybe, I can't remember. Maybe it's even 4 months. It was a reasonably short period of time. Most of the levels were complete, but some were scrapped. And one of those levels was Stormy Ascent. And it was the final level of the game. It happened after the lab, and you had to scale the side of Vortex's tower in order to get there. And the only reason we even know all of this is because someone, presumably an ex-games journalist, had a copy of the review version from before the game came out on a disc, and he sold it on eBay, and someone bought it for like thousands of dollars. And it just became this huge treasure trove of prototype Crash Bandicoot stuff. And that guy who bought it, like, ripped the game and provided a copy of it online for people to look at any time. And yeah, it's full of huge stuff. It's great. Like, for example, originally the map for Crash Bandicoot that you play through to go into each level was not in 3D. It was a 2D map with an with like the Crash's life icon on it, and you would walk around. Well, you kind of just sort of float around this island, traveling to different places, and all the bosses had like their face on the boss rooms. One thing that I found interesting was the fact that the game was more or less done. All the levels were there. There was like a couple of bits of texture work that needed doing, and some little changes to the animation that were made before the game finally came out. But I think the only thing they really did for those next 4 months was marketing and like gameplay tweaks to make sure that the game was like fully complete before shipping. For example, I think his run speed was made to be slightly quicker. I did play it. I emulated it because it's the only way you can play it. And yeah, it was interesting. The game was actually a lot harder, and they actually took out a few traps. I presume this must have been like during Q&A or something to make it a bit easier. But yeah, one of the things they removed was the final level, Stormy Ascent, because it was too hard, pretty much. And I fully agree with it. The level is ridiculously difficult and quite unfair in a number of ways. So, like, I'm all for difficulty, I guess. But yeah, that level was definitely a step too far. And obviously they must have thought, well, it wasn't worth just doing the entire level over again. We'll just scrap it and make the second to last level the last level, and that'll be it. And that's Stormy Ascent. One interesting thing about the version of Stormy Ascent that's in this game is that it is the only, at least when the game first launched with Stormy Ascent, it's the only original piece of content in the entire game. Because in the demo version of Stormy Ascent, as mentioned in previous videos by myself, the game hadn't, the developers hadn't finished the bonus level for that level. It didn't have one yet, so if you tried to go into it, the game would just crash because it would try to send you to a place that didn't exist. And yeah. So, in order to make the game playable, the developers of this version of Crash Bandicoot had to add a whole brand new level, bonus level, whatever, to the game. It's the only original piece of content in the entire game. Everything else is just remade from the original Crash Bandicoot. It's set for that bonus level. And so people, like on YouTube and online and that sort of thing, were judging the bonus level to be like, they remade Crash Bandicoot, but can they actually make an original game? Check out this original level in order to find out how well these developers would suit the Crash Bandicoot style. And yeah, I played it and I was like, yeah, this is a good bonus level. I'm happy with that. I'd, I'd be down to more of this were it available. And hopefully soon it will be. Because apparently Activision are seriously considering making Crash Bandicoot and Spyro. They're like top sort of priority games at the moment, because apparently it's just selling so well. And you know what? I can see why. If you've never played Crash Bandicoot, you've at least heard of him, and he's a classic character. He's a classic character, and he never should have died. And there was no point in even trying to do anything in this level, because once again, you cannot beat it. You need all of the blue gem in order to get all the bosses, which is fun. I'm now going to die in this bonus level. I didn't. Okay. Wow, okay. Cool. I usually die on these. That was fine. Who is Crash Bandicoot? That's a good... There's a history about that, and I know most of it. So, Universal Pictures signed a contract with Naughty Dog to make a game for Sony Computer Entertainment Europe, which is why both of their names appear at the start of the original Crash Bandicoot. And Naughty Dog began right away. They were like, we want to make a Sonic the Hedgehog style 3D game. So the main character is going to be some kind of anthropomorphic animal that anyone can love, with ideally a distinct palette and style, and he will run through Sonic style levels-ish. Yeah, Sonic style levels, but you'll look at it from a, like, I don't know, a forward perspective, like a corridor or a hallway. And that's how the style was born. And the prototype, or the developer names for the game whilst it was being developed, was called Sonic's Ass Game because of that style. Because you looked at the character rip off Sonic's, like, ass during the entire game, as you still do in this game, because that's the point. Yeah. Anyway, so, yeah, during development, it was coming along well. The style of the character had been pretty much finalized in drawing form. I don't know if they had a specific model made for the game yet. But Universal Pictures were quite intent on making this a child-friendly game, which Naughty Dog was like, yeah, okay, whatever, we don't care. Just so long as we're allowed to have full control over like the level designs and like the character design, that sort of stuff. You just tell us an outline of what you want and we'll try and make it. But the president of Universal at the time was like really intent on having it be like this children's TV show style character called Willy the Wombat. And Naughty Dog outright were just like, listen, you gave us this contract to make you this game for Sony Entertainment Europe. Just let us make it. Otherwise, we're done. And they completely halted progress on Crash Bandicoot for like, I don't know, a few weeks or something before they were like, okay, fine, whatever, call them whatever you want. And so they decided to call him Crash Bandicoot. Because it kind of looked vaguely like a Bandicoot. And he crashed into things, specifically boxes. And it just, yeah, that's it. The name, the style, basically everything was born out of necessity. And it's also a little bit of a fuck you to Universal Pictures. They could have made his middle name I Hate Universal, but that probably would have been a step too far, so they just went for Crash Bandicoot instead. It's fine. Serviceable, even. Here's a fun fact about this level. It's the second longest level in the game, the longest being Sunset Vista, which is another 2.5D style side-scrolling platformer level. Yeah. Crash Bandicoot has a lot of these, probably because when they were working on the game, they really couldn't probably find a style that fully worked for them, and so emulating the Mario style of a 2D platformer, but with an extra like half a dimension, we can move forward and backwards very slightly along a very tiny plane. made the game look more impressive, but didn't actually add anything. But it probably helped them test to see how well the physics of this new 3D character could translate. When put back onto a standard platform style thing. I'm a great commentator. I love streaming. Streaming's my favorite thing to do. Oh, jeez. Here's another fun fact about this level. I hate it. I've always hated it. I hate this level. I've always hated it. It's awful. I hate it. Please make it stop. As a child, these fucking spinny things were just the fucking worst. They still are the worst, but they're not nearly as bad, because they fixed them in this game, and I can live with them now. Another fun fact about this level, the aforementioned secrets that I was talking about before, and how they'd be basically impossible to find. Well, here's one. Yep, you walk in the background. How fun. You just basically get to avoid all of the difficulties and platforming. You can just walk to about, I don't know, halfway through. That's where we're at now. And you're encouraged to do so because there's not even a single box along that stretch of area. God, the developers of the skin of dicks. Is Crash Bandicoot the Dark Souls of platformers? No. No, it isn't. No, it isn't. Am I the best Crash Bandicoot player in the world? That's a real question. Your bet will never find out.